Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Speedcars Down Under. Tonight we're joined by Paul Charlesworth. Welcome, Paul.
Hi, Jamie. How you doing?
Yeah, good mate, good mate. Living the dream down here in Tassie at the moment. The weather's actually not too bad for a change, and I've actually got a t-shirt on with no jumper, so that's even better. Look at that. Oh, that's just spectacular. And our special guest tonight is all the way from South Australia. Done a fair bit as far as I can do research. He's worked with Formula 4, Formula 3, V8 supercars, speed car driver, and apparently builds his own engines as well. Welcome, Rory Jackermis.
Cheers, thanks.
Welcome, Rory. How are we, mate?
Yeah, good.
That's the way. Been busy today?
I've been a bit crook, so
that's no good,
yeah,
mate.
and my young bloke, he's copped it as well. So I had a day at home with him. So which it's a shame to be sick, but you always take advantage of a bit of family time when you can get it. So.
Definitely, for sure. So, Rory, fill us in, mate. How did we get involved with motorsport, and where did it all begin?
It started pretty early on. You would have been to the Murray Bridge Speedway. So anybody that's sort of familiar with that, that you turn off the main road and you head up the hill. There's a place on the corner there, which is now a self-storage place. That was where I grew up. We moved in there when I was about 18 months old, and we went up to the Speedway, and I realised at that point that the Speedway was just up the road. And so the next day, I actually disappeared and went to the Speedway. I ran away to the Speedway. And I was found about 2 hours later waiting at the pit gate. I didn't realise that somebody had to open and close it, so I just I was working on the assumption that it was automatically going to open at that point. So that was how it all got started. I've been running away to the Speedway ever since. So that's. It's been a fair old journey from there. So
yeah, righto. So was Mum and Dad involved in motorsport speedway, or were they? It was just you loved it from the word dot.
So Dad was involved. I'm sort of third generation. My grandfather raced sort of like Rory Park and that sort of stuff. Sort of way back. And then, a few years later, Dad got involved. There's a bit of a long story. Dad and my grandfather, didn't have a whole lot of time together when Dad was a kid. So it wasn't until sort of later on that that they developed a friendship and that. Then my dad sort of got involved and was running Speedway City, early Speedway City, and that sort of era. And then he had a run. So he was in speed cars and realised that they were a bit too expensive and a little bit too elite for him. Had a bit of a dabble in some super sedans, and then quite a few years later. Ended up in the V6 sprints, or lightning sprints, and then that was when I eventually had gotten old enough, and that Dad updated a car, and he had the old car sitting there, and that was when I got my opportunity to finally have a crack. So that was where it got going.
So. Speed cars. When was the last time you raced a speed car? Did you race last year?
I was running last year. I had a few dramas. I was struggling with some engine dramas. Probably I did run the Aussie title. I actually ran that in the Rokel Motorsports.
Yeah, righto. Yep, no, I remember that car. I was there. I did see that.
Yeah, yep. I was running that one there for those last couple of meetings. Had ironically enough, a couple of engine dramas in that one as well. But yeah, it was seemed to be plaguing me a bit. But yeah, so that's how it goes. So yeah, unfortunately, just through a bit of struggle with reliability and that sort of stuff, I didn't get to show what I really wanted to during the season. But yeah.
And are you running this season, right?
Yeah, so I'm still need to finalise exactly what sort of deals are going to be in place, but I'm hoping to run. So the Rokel Motorsports deal is they're hoping to try and get a second car up and running. Yeah, so they were happy with my performance, given that like the Aussie title was my first run in the car. Yeah, and yeah, we weren't fast, but we were reasonably consistent and kept out of trouble. Managed to avoid a couple of little disasters. We had the car stuck at full throttle a couple of times, so I managed to get out of that. So yeah, so I think that overall they were fairly happy considering the low preparation, that sort of stuff. So they seemed interested in trying to get a deal going. We need to figure out what the calendar's going to look like exactly. Now I got to work with my sponsors a bit too. So now that I finally sort of picked a couple up, need to try and keep them happy. And they're a little bit there's a little bit of at odds. So yeah, I got one of them's pretty keen to see me jump into somebody else's car after some of the struggles I had with mine. And then I got another one that's pretty keen to see me continue the development sort of track that I'm going down with my engine and all that sort of stuff. So we're going to try and sort it out amongst the group as a whole. Go from there.
So tell us a bit about your engine.
Yeah, so I started, it was about 15 years ago. I was only thinking about this the other day. It was about 15 years ago. Came across the Toyota 3RZ. So it's out of your Hilux, Toyota Hilux, known for being pretty tough. And Colin Brooks, if you know that name. Had some discussions with him, and we're looking at it going, well, it starts at 2.7 litres. The rules with Speedcars, we can go up to 3, so we can bore it out a little bit. We had a look at how much sort of flow we could sort of get through valves and things like that. And what was available off the shelf in terms of pistons and rods and that. And yeah, it all kind of made sense. We looked at it. I was looking at it from a budget point of view, going, well, I can't afford to spend, the 10 to 20 to sky's the limit sort of budget.
That's pretty much it, isn't it?
And so I managed to put it together. So when I first got it together, it was a $4,500 to $5,000 engine package. And I regret a little bit of it in terms of I made a sump which was made out of a road sign because I couldn't afford to go and get
that's something we do. That's something we do down in Tassie, but I never expected to be on the mainland. And I don't know if anybody's ever tried welding up one of those road signs, but it was pretty messy and there was quite a few leaks, and ended up doing it in a bottom end at one point because when I finally got going fast, all the oil and everything warmed up more than it ever had before, and next thing you know, so that's how it all started. It wasn't through a sudden inspiration of like, this is something that I necessarily really want to go down the track of doing. It was if I want to go racing, this is how I'm going to have to do it. And with a bit of luck, I can be competitive. One of the great
disappointments, I suppose, with it is that I never had the budget to really. I've never put it on a dyno or anything like that. I've always tuned it by ear and that sort of stuff. And when it's on song, I have people come up to me even now, like other guys that got pretty good motors. They're like, "Man, when that thing goes, holy cow! Like it's quick." So it's disappointing that I never had the budget and resources to actually be able to get it up and make it properly developed. But anyway, it is what it is. It's.
I think it's good on you, mate, because at the end of the day, like you say, it is hard for people to get into the sport, for even entry level. Because, like you say, I mean, minimum, like I think that really, to be realistic, like to be reasonably competitive, you're looking at 10's probably a bit low, but 15, 20 grand for a reasonable entry level, like engine. If you're newcomer to the sport. But I think, I mean, back when I grew up, like everyone had different engines, everyone was building them in their backyards and stuff like that, which made the sport really, really competitive. And that's, I think that's why the numbers and that were big back then. Obviously, I mean, I'd like to see Speedcars sort of go down that path, especially with the Hondas, like yourself doing the Toyotas. Rod Jones too, it's got one in Tassie, I think. I don't know if it's the same sort of Toyota, but I mean, they get good results out of that.
Yep.
So Rory, you're an engineer by trade?
So mechanical engineer. I was a bit of a latecomer to it. I thought I'd try my hand at being a mechanic early on, and I actually started an apprenticeship with David Anderson, and crewed for Grant for a season there. It turns out that I'm actually not a good mechanic. I ask too many questions and take too long getting things done and lose too many tools so it took me a couple of years to figure that out. Eventually, thought, if I want to work on my strengths, that engineering's the way to go. Went down that track. Pushed me into more of the bitumen sort of racing. It's where I kind of went off and dabbled in engineering with Formula 3 and was part of the national championship winning team. We ended up with John Magro, who's of course in sprint cars now up in North Queensland there. I think we had the longest winning streak in Australian motorsports. We had a massive year. Swept everything. So, I remember there was a little disappointment. We got second in one of the qualifying sessions towards the end of the year. We're like, oh man, it had been clean sweep up until that point.
Did that make his open right? Did you hit that race a little bit lower than normal? Like you didn't take it as full on as normal? Was that why you just didn't get the?
No, I think John said that he made a mistake on his first flying lap, and then and with the tyres and that they had at that point, it was very much your first lap had to be it. So he had a crack at the second lap, and it just wasn't quite there. Yep. So yeah.
And what engine package do they run, Rory?
So they've got going back a little way. I'm pretty sure it's a 1.6 or 1.8. It's a naturally aspirated deal. They've got a few different engines. Like there's, I'm trying to remember what we had in ours. Renault's, I'm pretty sure. There's some Renaults, some Toyotas out there, and so they're reasonably open in terms of what you can sort of whack in there. The big deal with them is that they're a restrictor racing, so so they've got a when you roll up for your inspection, they've got a go no go plug, and they stick it in there, and as long as that works, you can't be making more than the horsepower that they're aiming for. So which personally I think is a great way to go. It's feel like there should be more of it out there. That's
So I did hear a rumour. I'm not too sure, whether it's 100%, and I got my facts right. Did you pick crew for a touring car team?
Yeah, so that's right. After the Formula 3 stuff, went into Team 18. I was with Scott Pye and Mark Winterbottom.
Nice.
At that time. So, they... my tenure there was basically coincided with almost exactly their tenure. It was pretty. It was a little bit rough. I went over there. It's just after Australia Day 2020 and so we all know how that went down over the next month or so. So we made it to the Grand Prix, and then all of a sudden I didn't have a job. So I ended up back in South Australia at that point, and then when they all sort of went on the road, what happened was I ended up doing work from home sort of deal. We actually set up through Teams. Bit like this, sharing screens and all the rest of it. So I was doing all the background work while they were at the track. While the session's running, I'm watching it on TV and watching all the data and everything on my screen, and then saving it and analysing it and sending off reports and all that sort of stuff to try and back up the guys that were on tour as best as possible. So I got through that, and then I ended up back with the team full time. I was still based in South Australia at that point. So that was it was great. It was a great experience, but also pretty full on. I think I ended up doing it was near on 50 plane trips for the year. When I moved from home, I think it was 38 out of 50 days or something like that. And plenty of time in airports and on tour, and back and forth, and like I say, it was a great experience, but my head was spinning a bit by the end of it. That's
for sure.
Do you think V8 supercars are heading in the right direction, Rory?
I do. Yes, roughly speaking. I think some of the ideas they've got are good ideas. In terms of where they're trying to sort of bring some of the cost down and simplify the cars a bit, I think that they were over-engineered. Some of my other fellow engineers might not necessarily agree, but I think at the end of the day, you have to design the whole deal around a certain budget, and they were getting over budget. And my personal idea and stipulation of that is, can a team come in and get enough sponsorship and get enough money from TV rights and whatever to actually try and pay for itself? And as it was, that was definitely a no. You got a lot of the teams needed a lot of extra backing from their owners and that sort of stuff. It's fine for your Red Bull Racing they're at the front, and it's easy for them to say, oh yeah, you got this much TV time and all that sort of stuff. But if you're not racing against somebody that's at the back of the field, then and they can't afford to be there, then what's the point? You're not going to last. So from that point of view, I think they're heading in the right direction. I'm not sure about this final series stuff. I'm a little bit more pure, racer in terms of, championship should be the course of a championship, things like that. But, that's to everybody's individual taste. So,
well, they're pretty much trying to go the same way as NASCAR, really, aren't they? Getting down to the final four drivers, and I could see that aspect of trying to mix it up a bit with the series, but I think they've probably mixed it up a bit too much.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome as. So, what's the plans for the Australian title, and are we looking at going to the PSW series, Rory, at all?
Yes, they're the two big things that I'd really like to get done.
Yep.
Like I say, we need to sit down with Rokel and figure out with those guys, make sure that's something that's it's all gonna work out.
Yep.
So go from there. They're certainly the big targets. Certainly that idea of being able to go to Simpson during the Pro Series, and then being able to head back there for I think they got the big Victorian title the week before as well. Simpson's really backing speed cars at the moment, and they have done for a while. It's really good. That they've got a title there, and hopefully the speed car guys can really support the track there. So
I can't wait to see these things on Tolma. I can't, that track's based off I-55, I think it is. And I watched the sprint car meet on. I didn't go over there and watch it in person. I watched it on Claver View, but what they were doing in sprint cars was unbelievable, that track. So I can't wait to see speed cars there, because I reckon the track will really suit them.
I'll tell you what, the Napa, like when they build that track, that's why I think speed cars are really going to look good too.
Yeah.
I mean, the sprint cars last year were just pulling big wheel stands on that track. I can only imagine what the midgets are going to look like, so I can't sort of wait for December to come along, and hopefully I can get down there and check that out.
Yeah, well, if you go down, Paul, take a video camera with you.
Yeah, for sure, mate. Don't you worry about that. I will, for sure. Yeah.
That's the way. So, when you was growing up, Rory, did you have any heroes that you looked up to that sort of led you in the right direction?
Not specifically. Probably, I was definitely a Rush fan. He was, is an incredibly talented, gifted driver. Nobody can argue with that. And then Brooke Tatnell. I always really liked the. Oddly enough, as a kid, it was how the car looked and that sort of stuff, and a young guy at the time. He was a young guy coming in, and I was sort of rooting for the young bloke that thinking that one day I'd get an opportunity to try and emulate that same sort of thing. I was a bit naive. I didn't realise how little money we had at the time. So
I think the South Australian. I thought Billy Wiggsell might have been one of those characters for you too.
Yeah, he was a little bit too early for me. Not by heaps, but just a bit. Like I say, they're two main guys, and I always liked them. Also on account of not only that they were fast and all the rest of it, but also that they were fairly clean drivers. I'm not going to mention the names, but there's other drivers out there that are talented and fast, and but they're not clean, and taking people out for no reason at all, and Yeah, that's very much not my cup of tea. Yeah, it's one thing to be passionate; it's another thing to be,
Yeah,
very,
right.
And speaking of that, Rory, like being a bit rough on the racetrack, for a lot of people out there that haven't raced these before, how hard is it not to run into someone else beside you when you're going at these speeds that we do around these clay racetracks?
I mean, I typically haven't had too much of a struggle with it. Other people do.
Yeah.
I think like what happens as you kind of get further forward in the pack, and like I say, my budget, I'm not right up the front, and I'm not expecting to be one of the guys right up the front. But when you kind of get further up and at that pointy end, it starts getting a bit more cutthroat. It's everybody's that little bit closer to the limit and to the edge, and all the rest of it. It definitely gets harder and harder. I know at the title last year, I think it was it was on the first night of the Australian title, and they had the split A main deal.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we got a reasonable chunk of the way through the race, and there weren't too many yellows for a little while, and the leaders got around to me, and I was struggling a bit with confidence and just trying to keep the car a bit off that cushion, because it was a pretty balls to the wall sort of deal. And I was like, oh, they're coming up on me. All right, I'll just try and keep out of the way and make sure I drive a nice tidy line. And oh my gosh, it was those front couple of guys. I watched a replay. I was worried that I'd actually balked Nick Parker, because I could see that he was in the lead, and then it wasn't him that went past me. But I think he'd had a little moment beforehand, and then I can't remember who it was that was in the leaders, flown past. Yeah. And then, the next thing you know, Nick's like come across and like just about stopping in front of me, and I was about to hit him. And then there's another car alongside me. I was like, holy cow, like how did this all just unfold? I thought they were all going to turn into a mess in front of me. I was like, far out there, they're committed, So when the commitment's real high like that, I can definitely see that. It gets tougher and tougher. The further forward you get, the higher the expectation, the harder it is to keep it all nice and clean and tidy. It's
And like everything's happening so quick out there too,
Yeah.
And like if you watch the Americans, over the extreme midgets. I mean, they've got twice as many cars. They're all running the limit, even on the little tracks. I mean, you don't see. I mean, yeah, you do. You see the little shoves here and there, but I don't think a lot of them are deliberate. When you sort of go back and watch them 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
and they're all young. They're all running for for sheep stations over there. So I mean, it is. I mean, even when I came back, a few years ago and started racing them again, I started rear field for the whole season because I just didn't want to mess anyone else up, And for me, it was good because you can sort of get the feel of the car, and by starting at the rear, you can sort of see where you are at too. Like am I way off, or am I halfway there, or whatever?
Yeah.
And, you can sort of play around with the traffic a little bit, and sit behind the guy for a couple of laps, and But like I say, especially that Aussie title, like they were flying. So, I mean, and I mean, you don't realise just how fast those guys are going when you are a backmarker, and like you got some bloke flying, around the outside of you. Like I remember that with people like Brock and Luke, like passing me, and thinking, Jesus Christ, I'm way off the pace here. So,
does that have anything to do with old age catching up, Paul, or?
Oh yeah, for sure. Just different cars too, Like they never had power steering when I used to race, and when I was young. Well, I did race and had a few drives, but like it's just like they're a completely different car today. Even though they're still very similar, but just I think with the power steering, that makes it a lot easier. You really got to get your head around that. I mean, they were either all bar cars too or coil cars back in my day. So I sort of struggled with that transition of trying to work out the bar side of it with the coil front ends. I mean, you know, there's lots to it, you know, especially when you haven't been in one for 30 years. Like, yeah. But I mean, as I said, it's all a learning curve, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's all, Colin Brooks explained it to me. He said, try to get it right. It's like, just trying to get all of the planets into a perfect alignment. And then once you've done it a couple of times, it starts getting easier to figure that path. But there's a lot that a lot that goes into it. People, you're right. People don't sort of realise how hard it is to get all of those pieces in alignment,
Well, and especially for us this year with Nick. I mean, like Simpson's his favourite track, So, I mean, like we're definitely having a big crack at it this year. And like, I believe he's got it before he, ever hangs it up, which I wouldn't like to see him do in the near future.
No.
But like, we was talking to him the other day and he actually made me laugh because he goes, I'm the veteran of the sport. And I'm sitting back there again, oh, you're not really. And he goes, no, look, when you think about it, you should have a walk around the pits. And I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, maybe you are.
Well, it is now, isn't it? It is now, isn't it? Speedway's turned into a young person's sport, where years ago it was more like a 30, 40-year-old sort of sport back when I was a kid. Well, now it's dominated by all these young fellas, like sprint cars, for instance. You've got Jock Goodyear and young fellas like that are just blowing everyone off the tracks. Speed cars, you've got Caden Brown, he's not very old, like Nick Parker. Nick's not that old. He's only, 41, I think, isn't he? 41.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to tell you the exact age.
He's not that old. He only looks about 20.
Yeah. No, he's a good lad, trust me.
Yeah,
but it just blew me out to hear him say that too, though, I'm a veteran of the sport. And I mean, I don't look at him like that either, though. And it just, I just thought, oh, shit, well, maybe you are, but no, you're not. Yeah.
So getting back to you, Rory, family, how's the family go with you racing and being so full on into motorsport? I know you've got is it a wife and 2 kids?
Yep. So, it's a bit of a challenge, You've got to try and, manage time and manage expectations and all that, but everybody's on board, everybody makes it work, and it's like any relationship, it's all about communication, that sort of stuff. Just make sure that everybody's getting what they need to get through. That's the thing. So
you said that very diplomatically. I like that.
that's how it is,
And what about the kids? What about the kids, Rory? Are they going to follow in Dad's footsteps, or are they already looking at jumping in a little junior or a motorbike or something somewhere?
I mean, we got so Cooper, stepson, has absolutely no interest in motorsport at all.
Yeah, right.
He doesn't mind going when he can catch up with his cousins. So, I'm not sure about Amos. He's only a month-ish away from being 2. He hasn't run away to the speedway like I did by his age yet, but he has been charging around on his little plastic trike pretty hard.
Look out, you're in trouble.
Wheels pretty regular, so that's yep. So we'll see how that develops.
Yeah. And proudest accomplishment you've ever achieved, or so far you've achieved in your career, Rory? What's your proudest accomplishment?
Oh, geez. I don't know. There's it's funny, you tend to look forward more than you look back, but probably the the supercar, we had a win up in Darwin. Yeah, and yeah, the Team 18, had quite a few decent results up there. Yep. But yeah, getting that win up there with Frosty, that's certainly up there. And that season that we had with the Formula 3, that was pretty cool. Around that time as well, I did a race with Patrizi course. So they were running Formula 4. No, I can't remember the name of the driver now. But anyway, he'd had some decent results in some other series and done well in karts and that. And they'd been really struggling with that Formula 4. And so the first race that I came in, I made a whole bunch of major changes, and he picked up a win that weekend. I think given that they'd had a few different people in and all that sort of stuff, and I was able to come in there and actually make a real difference, from an engineering standpoint. And basically, rewrote the book of how their setup was. And had a real result from it. So that was pretty cool.
Awesome, man. So what's the one big event you want to win this year, or at least go to, Rory? Apart from the Australian title, of course, we know everyone wants to go to the Australian title. Is there one big event you really want to win?
Well, you just took the words in. Yeah. Pro Series, Warrnambool Pro Series.
Yep.
Yeah.
That would be, I reckon that'd be the next best thing. There's going to be, because that's, in line with the sprint cars there. There's going to be a big crowd. There's, a big meeting. All the build up and everything. I think that'd be the ultimate.
It's a good track too, Warrnambool. I believe it's one of the fastest tracks in Australia. I love watching midgets there, as well as sprint cars. So, it'll be a good night there that night.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Sure. Can't wait. And have we set a date for your first meet now, Rory, or are we still up in the air with the first day we're going to see the car on the track?
Still up in the air at the moment. We'll just have to wait and see. I got a few projects on the go outside of the car itself as well. All speedway related, of course.
Yep.
New line of rod ends. Just started getting them to market. So if anybody's looking for rod ends, Jackermis Motorsport, send me a message, and so hopefully we'll have the website up soon. So so I got that, doing anodizing and that sort of stuff. So it's all kind of been a natural progression of that whole project. Developing some software as well. I got to try to put together a game, Speedcars, sim game.
Yep.
First release of that, hopefully sort of try and put it out on mobile, just be an Android platform to begin with. See what happens, see if there's any sort of success there, and then have a look at getting it onto computer and PS5 after that, so see how that goes. I was just looking, I'm not sure whether we've got a share option, but I got a little bit of gameplay footage that...
you'll have to send it to me and I'll be able to put it up.
For
sure. We've got a share option somewhere, but I don't know where it is.
Where it is, how to use it.
I've had that much trouble with this the last couple of interviews. it's running good tonight, so I don't want to touch anything.
Exactly right.
Send it to me, and I'll definitely put it up with the show for sure. Before we go, mate, is there anyone you'd like to thank, your sponsors, the people that help you out? Because without these people, we don't race, you know, like, so is there anyone you'd like to thank?
Yeah, absolutely. So Brett Kennewell of Kennewell CNC Machining. So one is a fantastic boss, but two is also a great sponsor. My dad, so it's the Eastside Self Storage. Then we got Citadel Secure. I think they're all sitting around.
Yeah, they're all down the side of your screen. They look good, actually. They look really good. And then Tyndall. So they did upset panels for me and helped me with the new oil tank and that sort of stuff this last year. So those guys are the main guys. And of course also family and friends that help out and support and get the unconditional love from. So that's the way.
Yes.
All right, we might leave there, boys. Thanks very much for joining us tonight, Rory. I'll rephrase that. Thanks very much for joining us tonight, Rory. We wish you all the best for the coming season. We hope it all goes well for you and you get the results you want. And we hope the business goes well with all the rod ends and all that. And can't wait to see the video game come out. It'll be awesome for the sport. We need more things like this to get the sport more involved. So
absolutely.
We wish you all the best, mate. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us, Paul. And we were supposed to have Nick Parker on tonight, but the reason we haven't got Nick Parker on the program is because Nick doesn't live in a very good service area. So we are working on getting Nick on the show eventually, but at the moment we can't get him on, but we're going to try shortly in the next coming future. But next week...
we can always get his old man on.
Oh, wouldn't that be a rip snorter?
David's always up for a good chat, so I think we can always get David on.
We are going to get...
That'll be a better interview, I reckon.
That's awesome. I'd say it'd be good for David.
We are going to get Brody on, is it? Brody? In the next couple of weeks. But next week we've got Zoe and Andy Pearce coming on, which will be awesome.
Yeah, which will be good. We've actually got both of them, so that'll be good, you know. But, I mean, don't be wrong, like, they're third generations too, like Andy, like he's second generation. So, I mean, I can remember Andy's dad racing when I was a kid. So,
and she's about to go to Chili Bowl in January, I think. So, it'd be good to catch up with her before she goes.
That'll be good. So that'll be a good interview. But we'll have to get you back on, Rory. And as I said, we'll definitely catch up in the Pro Series.
Yep, for sure.
And and keep us updated on your video game.
Yeah, no worries.
And we're coming over for the Australian title, so we'll be over there having a bit of a yak to you, Roy. We'll come and introduce and have a yak and get an interview with you while we're there.
Yep, no, that sounds great.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us tonight, fellas, and everyone out there on social media. Good night and have a good one. We'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Yeah.